Welcome back to the channel, folks. I've owned the Super Chief for over 2 years now, and I've logged over 341 hours in it. And for this episode, we're going to take a look at the expenses, what it's cost me to store it and maintain it, and come up with a hourly rate, if you will, for how much it costs me to fly the Chief. My name is Jared White. Join me as we explore Northern California and beyond, enjoying the somewhat more affordable side of general aviation.
Chief is rolling.
The old Super Chief. She's a trusty craft. We've had some good times in her. So let's get into my numbers here. I've owned it for 2 years and 2 months, 26 months of ownership, and I've logged 341.8 flight hours, average of about 157 hours per year. First, we're going to look at the fixed costs, and these are the costs that don't really change, regardless of how much I fly it. And the biggest fixed cost is just storing it in the hangar. These old planes, you don't want to leave them outside, especially around here. We have my hangar costs over the last roughly 2 years is $5,070. That comes out to $195 per month. I pay more than that for the hangar, but I've always had, for a while I was subleasing a portion of the hangar to my friend Nick with his Thorpe, and then kind of after he left, I got the Starduster in here, so I don't really count the full cost of my hangar rent just to the Chief. My annuals have averaged a little over $1,000 a year, so I have $2,200 for my annuals, my 2 annuals that I've done on the Chief. My property taxes end up being just under $300 a year, so I got $570 for my 2 years of property taxes. My insurance, $1,197. My first year of insurance on this was a little under $500, but it was just for liability. Recently, I just got on with Clemens Insurance, and I now have some hull coverage on it, and so my insurance went up a little bit. I think I'm paying, I paid $729 for $25,000 worth of hull coverage, which seemed like a pretty good price to me. I haven't really looked at the fine print, so I'm not sure if I'll be covered if I have an accident while I'm landing on a sandbar, but I think it will cover me if I have an engine failure and have to put it down somewhere unfriendly. Alright, so that brings my total fixed cost for the last 2 years up to $9,037. And if you divide that by my 341 hours of flight time, my fixed cost per hour is at $26.44. So that's not too bad. Okay, now let's take a look at our variable costs. And these costs are directly related to the amount of flying that I do. So The biggest cost when I'm flying is putting gas in it. Uh, I estimate about 4.5 gallons per hour, and I estimate fuel over the last 2 years has probably run me about $5.30. It's a little more now. I think it's up to $5.50, but for a long time it was at $5.30. So at $5.30, that puts my fuel cost at $23.85 per hour. My oil filter and oil changes, I have that at $1.87 per hour. And then I have an overhaul budget in here, and I'm basing this off a $20,000 overhaul. I think it would probably end up costing more than $20,000 to overhaul my engine, especially nowadays. But there's also a chance I might get over 1,800 hours before I have to overhaul it. So this is just kind of a rough estimate, just to have a number, and I have that at $11.11 per hour. So that brings my total variable cost up to $36.83. And if I add that to the fixed cost, that my cost to operate the Chief over the last 2 years has been $63.27 an hour. So I haven't actually paid that much out of my pocket because of that $11 overhaul cost. So without that overhaul factor in there, it would be $52.16 without budgeting for a future overhaul. That's not too bad. It's definitely a lot cheaper than having to rent a plane. The probably the lowest cost rental plane around here is down at Flying Panthers. They have a 152 that you can rent wet for $110 an hour. A lot of places are charging more than that for 150s and 152s. I wasn't too sure if I really wanted to, share these numbers on the internet because, financial stuff is kind of private. But I think it's important for anybody that's kind of considering getting into aviation or buying an airplane to kind of know what the real costs are. My costs are definitely lower than what probably a lot of people spend. My annuals have been pretty reasonable, and you can certainly spend a lot of money on your annuals if your airplane needs a lot of work. I do a lot of as much of the kind of preventive maintenance as I can myself, and so that helps, with oil changes and greasing the wheel bearings, cleaning the spark plugs, all that kind of stuff that pilots can legally do on their airplane. I try to do a lot of that myself, and so that helps lower the cost of my maintenance. But it's still a significant cost. And if something major happened with my engine, then I'd be paying for a big overhaul. So that is something that you have to consider as well. But overall, the Chief is a pretty economical plane to fly compared to a lot of other planes, and it does it serves me pretty well. Every time I go flying in it, I'm happy, and I haven't got tired of flying in it yet. So I have a lot of great adventures planned ahead for the old Super Chief. We also hit 3,000 subscribers on the channel. So welcome to the channel, new members, new subscribers. It's been I've been enjoying making the videos, and I plan to make a lot more in the future. I hope everyone has a good Christmas and New Year's, and I'll see you in 2026. So long.